Hi, I'm Cathy.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ola. And I'm a tiger. And welcome to Bloomberg Book Club.
Amazon Prime's Wheel of Time has been cancelled.
Oh, mate,
Monkey!
Don't, because then I'm gonna get sad. Yeah, it got announced yesterday that they've cancelled it, which I think is a darn shame.
It is really frustrating, especially because it got cancelled like last night.
Mm-hmm.
This morning we'd already planned to come and film our reaction to season 3 of Wheel of Time,
which is a bit of a late reaction, but the astute viewers amongst you may have noticed that it's my first time back on this little blue couch. And we were all excited to talk about Wheel of Time together and fangirl over the season.
Especially season 3, because I feel like it was
really
so good.
And now it's just, the conversation is just a bit sour now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really frustrating and it's sad, but I also feel it's kind of understandable.
And I suppose it's culture of content creation that we live in, isn't it? That if something isn't as successful or as expensive, then there's no worth in that art being continued.
Yeah, it's a creative business.
Yeah.
And if you're putting a lot of investment in it, people are going to want to see a lot of returns. I also think it's I think fantasy is an awkward format of a show to dive into. Because I was thinking about this, so I really, really enjoyed season 3. Maybe we'll get into some of the specifics of why it was so good. But honestly, when I started watching it, I said to a few other people, like, I need to get into Wheel of Time, I need to start watching it. To be honest, I'm only watching it to record it for the vlog, because I feel like as it had good moments in season 1 and season 2, but as a standalone TV show, it didn't hook me in. Mm-hmm. But for the sake of the vlog and seeing where it goes and a bit of curiosity, like I'll watch it. And then I really just genuinely loved all of season 3, enjoyed it as television as it was. But I was thinking, who would I recommend it to?
I recommend it to everyone. You should watch Wheel of Time. You should watch Wheel of Time.
But it's hard to genuinely recommend something good. Like, the first 2 seasons aren't that enjoyable, but season 3 is a really good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, do I want to tell people to watch 2 seasons of telly? Can you jump into season 3 without knowing what's gone on before and enjoy it? I think it's not like a comedy series. Like, you can jump into any season of The Office. And
you don't need to know everything that's gone before.
Yeah, and
it's nice to, but you don't need to.
Yeah, and same with, like, I don't know, spy or murder mystery things. You can kind of jump in on a new series and you'll be caught up. Mm-hmm. I feel like with fantasy, the feeling is you need to watch it from the beginning.
Yeah, the plot is important to the ongoing story.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a really obvious thing to say, but like you said, like you mentioned spy and murder mystery things, I think they are very, as television shows go, they are very episodic.
Yes.
A lot of things do stand alone, and they might be ongoing threads, but generally speaking, it's about each episode's own story arc.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Whereas Wheel of Time, it's a whole series story arc. It's not just individual series. Like series 1 had a story arc, series 2 had a story arc. They did.
Yeah.
But we're telling this 8 series show as a whole.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty bummed out, to be honest.
I think we should say as well, like, the performances throughout the Wheel of Time. I've loved the cast and all the actors. It's a really, really good cast, and I really hope we see them in other things. But yes, let's talk about season 3 and all the amazing things in it.
You know what? At least I got to see my gal on screen.
Fail.
Yeah.
She was perfect, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't book fail, but she was great.
Yeah, I feel like she had enough of that core
Yeah,
quality.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, was it series, episode 7 that was the Battle of the Three Rivers?
Yeah, I love that.
I didn't.
Did you not?
No, I thought, maybe this is because, maybe I'm misremembering this, but I think in The Shadow Rising, a lot of the action takes place off page, and it's more about the effects that the battle has on the villagers, on the people, if you know what I mean. And I think obviously that's a really hard thing to convey in a physical format, and it's much more seat filling to have big epic battles. It lost some of its heart for me. Like the whole thing about the Shadow Rising and the Battle of the Two Rivers is that this is just a group of ordinary people who, out of their love for one another and their love for their land, are banding together, and I think that the show lost some of that.
Yes, I think it could have done with more of a build-up of Perrin gathering people to come and defend. I think the battle itself is on page lock, so I think I remember that feeling of how the battle keeps retreating to the point where they are pressed up against the inn and the women's circle. I remember that happening in real time, but I think in that sense. But I really enjoyed that episode. I think it's my favourite part of the book series. Is it my favourite part of the book series? Maybe. I love a village siege and defending itself, and that whole thing of a group of people who aren't used to battle coming together to defend what they love. I love that storyline, and I love Perrin. And when Vllo confronts Perrin in the middle of the battle, because Perrin's like, I've failed them, people are dying, I've lost, and she's just like, good, that worst thing has happened, so now what are you going to do? And then that just lets him like go and actually go berserk and kind of lead against. Yeah. And I feel like it's not explicitly said in the TV show, but I feel like his Tavern kicks in then, and the battle turns, and it's not just because he's a really good fighter and he's really, really strong, it's
the threads are pulling around him.
Yeah, and he's exerting his will a bit, and that's intermingling to change the turn of the battle.
I know that I literally just said I didn't like the episode. I did like the episode, but part of me was like, I feel like the book did that better for me, in my opinion. And maybe part of that is to do with the fact that I just love Perrin and Vllo, and I loved Vllo being in the show, and I love what they did with her, but I think obviously because before the Battle of the Two Rivers, they've had time together, they've been on a journey together, and then another journey together, and they've got all that history between them. I find them really romantic. I know that people think they're a really bad couple and that it's quite toxic, but I think it's really sweet. And the fact that he sends her away out of love, which they didn't do in the show.
No,
they turned that on its head, and Perrin was like, I'm not going to send you, like, he said something like, I'm not going to send you away, like this is your decision, if you want to fight, you can fight. But in the book, being sent away allows Vllo to have her triumphant moment where she brings those reinforcements that save the day.
And that was given to the White Cloaks instead. Yeah.
But I did like the episode.
Yeah.
When they killed Loyal. Why did they kill Loyal?
Oh, Loyal!
Why did they kill Loyal?
That was heartbreaking. And in my head I was running through all the books like, but no, we need Loyal for... And I couldn't find the thing that we needed Loyal for, apart from obviously to be happy in life.
It's a different entity to the books. And my understanding of the writing room is that they're a group of people who are very familiar with the books and care about the stories that are being told. So I had confidence in, like, obviously I was like, why have they killed Loyal? But I knew that they had reasons for it. Like, they didn't just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think they had reasons for it. It resonated. You do need some kind of sacrifice in battles. And, oh gosh, it meant that when Perrin sends Loyal away and says, like, don't come back, go and, don't come back to the battle, you need to go on. And Loyal's like, are you sure? And Perrin says, 3 more fighters aren't going to make a difference in this battle, but 1 book might make all the difference for other people who are fighting against the Shadow. So Perrin sends Loyal off in the hopes that Loyal's going to finish his book and inspire other people. And the book's still in the Two Rivers, and Loyal's gone to his death, and
he's written some of it though.
He's written some of it.
It could be published posthumously.
Yeah, it could. But I thought that was a beautiful thing for Perrin to say, and it felt very much like Perrin. The Aiel women with him, I loved every moment they were on screen.
They were cool.
They've been brilliant and very good at portraying the Aiel culture. Love them. Oh, I forgot the name. Spider and Mugidian.
Oh, she was creepy.
She was creepy, perfect.
Yeah, she was creepy in a cool way.
Yeah, and just so sinister. And honestly, I think the scariest bit was when she was sat with like Nynaeve and Elaine and like used compulsion to get them to hand over the bracelet thing. Just, I loved how tense that scene was, and it just shows that you don't need, gruesome violence or this or anything dramatic. It's just all in the performance, and the more calm it was, the more tense it was. Really, really good. And Nynaeve like struggling like, to hand it over while she's smiling at her.
Yeah, what a performance. Oh.
I think at the end of season 2, when we like filmed our reactions to that, I said what I really wanted for the next season was for them to have a bit of breathing room, and I wanted to see that cast all together, being together and reacting to one another and see some of their chemistry again, and let them like decompress a bit and tell the audience what's going to happen next. And they pretty much did do that in the first episode of the season. So like they arrive in Tar Valon. Oh, and there's the whole, we see Swan. There's a fight in the
Yes,
in
of
the
course.
tower on the very
opening.
opening.
Women just tearing each other to shreds.
Yeah,
Right.
and I had mixed feelings about it. So on one hand, it was cool. On the other hand, it's very different from the books, and the Black Aja existing but not being out in the open adds a whole lot of tension throughout the books because you never know who to trust, which I guess is still true. But the thing that annoyed me most was how, oh my goodness, the Black Aja have revealed themselves. Aes Sedai are attacking one another in the tower and in the city. That should have changed the whole world. That whole city should have been acting like a terrorist attack is happening.
That's true.
And instead, our gang are like, oh, we just arrived for the day. Oh, there seems to be some commotion, but we're still all going to go to the pub, and the pub's fine, and people are out. Like, it should have been, like, the whole city should have been terrified. Aes Sedai are fighting one another in the streets.
Yeah, that's true. Because if it was just in the hall, they could have kept that quiet and like suppressed that information, but they did full on go outside and start firing magic at each other and tearing buildings down, didn't they?
Yeah.
And nobody cared.
Nobody cared, Ola. Imagine,
I saw that.
That's like if the police started attacking one another in the streets of London. Do you know what I mean? Like, that has consequences, but it didn't. Also, speaking of Tanchiko, did you enjoy Elaine singing on the tables?
I loved Elaine singing on the tables. I thought it was hilarious.
I love that too. I may have gone back and watched that a couple more times. It was just so fun. I'm like, oh my god, I'm singing and dancing. I love it.
Cute. You know how, right, since the season is never going to finish, the series is never going to finish, can I just throw a crackpot theory out there into the world? Do you know what I was thinking towards the end of the last episode? How we'd seen that little statuette with a guitar in series 1 when Stepin had the Forsaken shrine in his room.
Okay,
whatever.
yeah.
You know who has a guitar?
Tom?
Tom. Imagine if Tom has just been Asmodean the whole time.
Ooh. I don't know what I think of that.
Like it doesn't make sense, but
yeah.
You know.
Oh, but they were setting Tom up to be more of like that father figure to Elaine, weren't they? And then we're never going to see that.
No, we're not.
Another thing in season 3 I really enjoyed was Ruidin. But going through the archers and the flashback of the Isle, loved that. So glad they took a whole episode to do it.
I liked that they did have episodes just devoted to one particular storyline, like episode 7 being the Two Rivers, episode 4 being Ruidian.
Yeah.
It builds tension in the other storylines, but also allows more impact from the storyline that we're watching, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're not jumping backwards and forwards. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No,
there,
I agree, because I think these storylines, they all had their own arc, and if you're swapping between, like, say, 3 plot lines in a story in 3 different locations, to make it a satisfying episode of TV, there has to be a theme that connects them all, or an idea that they're all kind of playing with. And that's very difficult to do. So yeah, I think they made a good choice to just give storylines their own episode to do. And that's a really enjoyable way of watching the show.
Yeah, and also, if we had been jumping between, we might have had to take longer. Like, Ruidian might have taken place across 2 episodes instead of just 1.
Yeah.
But giving it its own episode allows you to tell that story all in one go.
A thing that I didn't enjoy as much is Rand's relationship with Lanfear.
I think they're adding that to put a love storyline in there.
Yeah.
Like a romance story, not romance, but you know what I mean. Like that love triangle dynamic that most pieces of media have to have.
Yeah.
But they're like checking a box. We've got to get a love triangle in there somehow. Even though there's love triangles in the book that they can use.
Yeah. there's not a lack of romance in the stories.
No.
I think I could understand her being the manipulative force and her being a part of the things trying to pull on Rand's strings and manipulate him. But once Rand knows she's Lanfear,
he's like, get away from me, witch!
Yeah, and I feel like, because I'm sure I've complained about it in season 2 as well, because like Lanfear, like, again, destroyed the city trying to get to him. I remember thinking, like, Rand would not be okay with innocent people getting hurt to rescue him. He would not be okay with this level of destruction and violence. So there's no way Rand would be romantically involved with somebody who routinely murders people and is known for murdering people and is going to continue murdering people. He just wouldn't. And I never quite believed it. And it was satisfying to see like Egwene like kind of call him out. But even then she shied away from like, Lanfear's killing people. And you get the feeling that Rand it's almost like Rand has been given a story by Lanfear of like, oh, but secretly she wants to be for the good guys, and that's where she's trying to get to. But she's not really made a compelling case for that.
I can't remember what Lanfear did in the series, other than just torture Egwene.
Torture Egwene.
What did she do?
Manipulate Rand, and then came for Moraine in the last episode.
Oh yeah, of course. That was stupid. That was stupid. I just thought that was stupid. I thought it was stupid.
I didn't quite get how Moraine's like, oh, I'm going to keep Lanfear away from you. So she goes off to a different part of the desert, and Lanfear comes for Moraine. Like, well, like Lanfear seems to. She could have just gone to Rand if that's what she was going to do.
It was just stupid. I have nothing more to say on that other than it was stupid.
Fair enough.
Do you know what else was stupid? I feel like I'm being highly critical of this.
What does it matter
I
now?
loved the series. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I loved the series. I can't wait to watch it again. I've started watching. I've watched series 1 with Aaron, and now I'm a bit like, well, what's the point? It's not
Yeah.
And I also told his mum and stepdad to watch it, and they've watched all 3 series.
Oh.
So they clearly enjoyed it because they watched all 3 series in like 2 weeks.
Oh, well, that's good.
Do you know what I didn't enjoy?
What did you
And I
enjoy?
think obviously I've complained about things, but the things that I've complained about, I can understand why they put them in there, and ultimately they don't matter that much. And I mean, this thing that I'm about to complain about doesn't matter much, but it just seemed completely pointless.
Yeah.
When they introduced Gawain and Galad, and Matt had them on either side of his room, just being loud with women.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It just, I thought that was unnecessary.
Yeah. A bit crude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put in there for a cheap laugh at Matt's expense, but I didn't find it that funny.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a prude, but...
No. I was glad that they included Matt's fight against them. Enjoyed that.
And I also think, again, I know that it's a different thing to the books and they're different characters, but that act of just, oh, we've just arrived in the city and now we're in our rooms with women.
It's not what Galad would do, is it?
No, it's not what Gawain would do either.
Oh no, actually.
Both of them are very...
Yeah. I do think, again, this might just be my sensibilities. I prefer a build-up with romantic stuff. And I think when you go... Because I was saying, like, Rand and Egwene were already in a committed relationship when the series started. Rand and Lanfear go all the way. You know, and this example too. I just feel like once that line's crossed, then what we're building tension for. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's good for story-wise, like, hold back on some stuff, let relationships develop, let there be a romantic first kiss. Do you know what I mean? Because then it's good television. Do you know what I mean?
I'm just thinking about Parent and Fire.
I am about Parent and Fire.
The dynamic of this series. Perfect.
Yeah.
That scene where they were talking in front of the fire. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. They were given room. And again, I could have done with more room for them, but they were kind of, especially because they had to like course correct after like giving Parent a wife and then killing her off, and I think the series has been trying to correct since then. But yeah, I loved it. I loved even like in the battle when like he does go into berserk mode and he's like, get behind me. She's like, stop trying to protect me. He's like, no, you get the ones like this. Like, yes, that's a dynamic.
Parent. I loved them.
So good.
I could just talk about them all day long.
I did this morning because I was thinking in my head of like the TV series as a whole, what I found frustrating about it. And I thought some of it goes back to like the very first episode. And I'm really glad that, you know, Erin and his family have been watching it and enjoying it. And other people must be enjoying it for its own sake too. But I think where there's some parts I think I can see the sweetness right from the first episode of where I think for a TV show to really connect with people, it is good to have a central character and you know I'm with them. And I feel like they tried to shift it from Rand to Moraine in the first episode, but the problem is that Moraine
In the first episode.
Isn't the main character.
no, she's not the main character. She's a fantastic character and she can still have a huge impact.
And Rosamund Pike is a huge international actress who is very talented and very famous. But that doesn't mean she has to be the main character.
No.
And I think they were trying to put that mystery in the season. Who's the dragon?
Yeah. Is that I think that's it. Like I think Rings of Power did something similar. Who is? There's 5 people. Which one of them is the dragon? Actually, that's not that interesting. Because I've just reread Eye of the World. By the way, we're going to review Eye of the World coming up, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, who's dragon? Not an interesting thing. And I think Moraine isn't the most attachable main character for us audience.
She's very closed off.
Yeah.
She doesn't want you to get to know her.
Yeah.
So why are you making her the main character?
No, and she's so cool as being closed off. We need to let her be that. And I think Rand should have been the main focus and the main character of episode 1. So, because I watched like the first 10 minutes of the first episode of season 1 this morning, just to like familiarise myself with it. And really, Moraine's introduced. Then Egwene's given a really pivotal moment of getting her plat and getting pushed in the river, which is a bit weird. And you know, I wish this is how it should have begun. It should have been about Rand, and it should have been Rand and his dad walking with the wagon, them being a bit tense because what else isn't in there? There's no like winter's melted into spring and we don't know what's going on.
I mean, how do you translate that physically without having clunky exposition?
You can have some clunky exposition. You can have like the farm.
I think now you brought this up, we could have opened the episode with the wind blowing, like
yes, the wind,
like up high in the mountains where there is still snow, and the wind blowing down and like having the snow melt and stuff, with a little bit of a voiceover from Moraine where she's talking about the arrogance of men or whatever. Yeah. And then we come on the back of Tam and Rand having their conversation.
Yes. Yes.
Like merge those two together so that.
And it needs to be something happens to spooks Rand. I don't know, whatever. And then whatever, like you know, like he's already on edge. Maybe it's a wolf, maybe it's a rock. The rock's falling down the mountain. That was a good thing. That was in 2-1. Tam needs to say to Rand, the void, and they need to like straight away and even like visualize it. And you can hear like Tam's voice going on like there's a flame and there's dark. Feed it, you fear. And you can even see Rand's face. You know, like
maybe
doing
like
it,
having a little flame in the pupil of his eye.
Yeah. And then Rand's calm, and then he looks, and then for a moment it looks okay. And then they look back and there's the fade.
You guys should have made this.
I know.
Right, now that they're stopping to make it, what's the something?
Well, yeah, we'll do it.
Right, I'll do it, yeah.
But I was just thinking, it should have been centred on, here's Rand, he's a farm boy, but here's already this strange thing about him that his father's teaching him to control his fear and his anger. Because that's Rand's arc. He has a power.
Oh, I want to reread Eye of the World.
I know that.
Have you finished?
Yeah, I finished.
Obviously you finished. Wait, don't start Great Hunt until I read it. Have you already started?
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
About 4 hours in.
Okay, well,
it's alright. It's going to take me a while. But do you know, it should. I think if season 1 had committed to Rand as being the main character and given him some inner conflict to work through, not just am I the dragon, am I not? You know, Eye of the World, it's about a farm boy being plagued by the enemy and he doesn't know why and he's having to run for his life. That's a good story.
I love Rand al'Thor.
I know,
he's
me too.
a baby and I want to ruffle his hair. You couldn't. I was rubbing Cathy's knee. You can't see it on camera. I want to do that to Rand.
I will give him this one.
Sorry.
In the first few minutes of the first episode, when Rand, Payne and Matt get together, they have instant chemistry. And there's a bit where Rand smiles. Oh my goodness. It's just like, oh. I mean, you don't often see Rand smile in the book, do you? But it's just so innocent and happy and joyful. I'm like, oh, we needed more time with him. He's so, so good. And you could just, I'd say that's why he gets 3 women to fall in love with him.
Yeah, because, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Eye of the World, we are following Rand and his confusion and uncertainty and fear.
Yeah.
And we fall in love with him as a character.
Yeah.
For how sweet he is.
Yeah.
and then we want him to succeed and come to terms with who he is and find a place in the world where he feels safe and secure and whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas in the show, you're right, we don't get the opportunity to fall in love with Rand.
Yeah.
All that time we wasted on Perrin's fake wife.
I know, exactly.
We could have had 10 extra minutes with Rand.
Yeah. I was thinking of like, the TV series Firefly. I don't know if you've ever seen.
I've not. I've seen the movie.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's in
We should
series.
watch that together.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's really good. But that's an ensemble cast, and you end up loving all of them. But the main character is still the captain, and almost every episode, and it's a Joss Whedon thing, and Joss Whedon's writing, he's always very clear of every episode of his TV show should tell you a little bit more about the main character. And I know when they were writing Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he would train the writers to say, okay, where's Buffy in this episode? What's happening with Buffy? What we're learning about her? And she must always go through something. And so it is with Firefly. Mal's the main character, and we always learn a little bit more about him and his struggles. That show is famous for having an ensemble cast, and you love all of them, and they're so distinct.
It's a very popular show.
Yeah, and they all shine, but you still can have a main character be the main character, and they all kind of bounce off him and reveal who they are by contrasting with him. And I wish we just had a bit more of that dynamic in real time, because it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe it will rise again.
Maybe.
And we still have the books.
We do still have the books. We've spent a lot of this vlog complaining about Series 3, which is a shame because we did both really like it.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
And maybe, I don't know, down the road, once we've read the books, maybe we could rewatch the series together as well and talk about it in more detail. But let us know your thoughts about Season 3 down below, what you think about the cancellation, what you think they would have done with the extra 5 series that they initially wanted. We are Lunabird Book Club. This has been Lunabird Book Club. Tune in next week for Lunabird Book Club.
Bye!
We've spent a lot of this episode. This isn't an episode. What do we call these?
Vlogs.
Videos. Can you tell I haven't done this for a while?